Good evening, I'm Salome Vincent. Thanks for joining me for another edition of TokPiksa. Since the creation of plastic and other manufactured items, littering and rubbish has always been a major concern, not forgetting the dreaded betel nut stains. And despite different organizations and individuals creating awareness for greater responsibility, it often falls on deaf ears. Here's a look at the attempts to keep NCD clean. Meredith Kuusa with this report.
Every day, international visitors travel into Papua New Guinea, and the first point of call is the nation's capital. The expression "first impression lasts the longest" is true. Many of us are guilty of throwing rubbish wherever we please, and in the end, one piece of rubbish accumulates, and you're left with something like this. NCD Governor Powes Parkop from day one has been advocating the clean city message for people to take responsibility of their own rubbish.
Meredith, I can today spend 1 billion kina on cleaning the city, but the next day it goes back to square one or even minus square one. So the bottom line is that our people have to change their attitude. Money cannot solve this problem. It's here in the state of our people's mind. So we've done our best. We've engaged a lot of contractors. We've also, used the city rangers, tried to use a bit of a shock therapy on our people. But, some of it's working, some not working. Some of our city residents have changed their attitude and mind, but quite a significant number still, into bad old habits. That's the, people that we got to work on.
In the middle of Boroko is the Tabari craft market. Here we find Kathy Lay, a traditional jewelry seller. She understands an attractive setting is good for business.
This is craft market, we all know, and tourists come around here. But the thing is, we want to keep the place tidy and clean. We must have the craft market separate itself. When these boy sellers or betel nut sellers come around, it's really untidy, and people want to buy. It's like they are chasing our customers away. We must have a special place where craft is itself being sold out to the people, and cleanliness is important to attract the customers to come in. So when the boy sellers come in, they make too much rubbish here and there. I'm not disputing them, but there should be separate places set for such things like this. And the future plan I'm looking at too is we have 4 corners of city. There's must be west, must be south and east. There should be craft markets also set in the centers. That helps the people, Other times they want to come over here, but they say pickpockets are too many around here, and there's another hindrance to the sellers over here. So to make it more easy, there should be craft markets set in 4 centers of the city, so that in future, that's in the government if they can look forward to this too.
Another craft seller is Nixon Napa.
Craft market, and me play yet so look at him. Steel man to old working car to me plus fighting all. No, not gonna make him more same. That's all white man, all in a sakam here. So me plus I waste him time, blow me blah. What's on a mibla like him was on government must make him one la. Banish blow me blow, black and Sindana.
In the nation's capital, there is a place called Garden Hills. We find Pauline Yauieb here during BSP's Go Green campaign. She's outraged. People need to care more about the cleanliness of their homes, she says.
Do yet you must clean him. Suppose house play you clean. Why you looking place? Narpla hap member clean. You make it people in the house play you, but you can now walk in people on Narpla hap too. No public place. Now you me community. Must stand up one time. Ting. Now you me walk one time. Now you me stop one time. Now you me hammer masa. This like passing block. Throw my people now you talk Narpla man by cleaning, but you must stop him. You must stop him because embarrass him. City blow me pla pot must be. Ose me talk here. You blow must one bella. You play signs on the settlement, you play must one bell, one time, me play walk. NCDC, buy me play. And volunteer walk. And volunteer walk. And volunteer. Me play no work money. Me play no work money. No got contractor hire me play no work. BSP, I'm giving plastic bag here. BSP no give him rake na bro. Me carry him la house, me come down and me rake na. Me clean him slahab. So you play must one bell or this la.
Recently, the trees on the hillside got chopped down, making the landscape look barren. Environmentally, this means an ecosystem has been destroyed, and there is greater risk of soil erosion. On a global scale, this means the ozone layer has thinned. It's been cleared for development by a church organization. But that change hasn't deterred the informal sector, which is a cause of much of the unhygienic practices, especially where betel nut consumption is concerned.
Now you blow line salim boy too. Throw me pipi good, huh? Time you salim boy, put him box lo side block. Table blow you now, put him pipi and go inside. No can throw me come lo rot na spit number of lo rot ya. Him. Time inside blow you am dirty. Outside too by dirty.
Just by listening to the rantings of this man, one can realize that he doesn't understand the concept of individuals taking responsibilities of their own rubbish. He's more consumed with money making.
Every day you miss a cleaning, you miss a making, but you looking. No one want the payment. So me go law in citizen, me talking more law. All about Trump helping you law, but look just a kind of some. Helping you law legal payment or just a kind of talk. No, I'm community market, so community clean up, now you can legally or 20.
BSP's Magai Kavailon explains why a clean environment is important.
We want to live in a very clean environment. That's right. With clean air to breathe and to make sure that, our future generation, these children here, we are training them now so they can put the rubbish in the rubbish bin.
It's important to keep the city clean because now planty line, they don't use their head now, keeping rubbish where it's safe to dispose, that kind of stuff, and they just throw it everywhere. And our dogs, you got all dogs also scavenge rubbishes, broken plastic. Na time, I say like here winds are come strong, so it takes them down to that. And this is our central business district area, so it's not good that plenty rubbish lay around nothing lol can up na. This is our commercial area too, so it's like get up in the morning, I come help him on BSP clean up something that I'll be proud of in the future time too. Picking him that I once participated in this.
It's something good to help around the community, so that my little ones can see what I'm doing and they can follow what I'm doing. So it's like being a role model to the little ones. And also it is good because we get to clean their environment and make it look better so that tourists from other countries, when they come in, they'll have a good good comment towards our country. As a citizen of Papua New Guinea, we'll have a good name outside.
Is for everybody. If you care about yourself at home, you also care about the exposed air, public areas as well.
Is there a connection between a clean environment and a healthy mind? And does that impact the society we live in? I spoke to a mental health expert.
So each and every one is projecting something to who they are to. So this being unclean and unhealthy, those things, how you dress up yourself, having that energy to present yourself, this is all talks about the mind's healthiness. When you look at them, it has got impact on your environment. So people don't care the attitude, the change, then their mind is somewhere, their mind is focused on especially materialistic things and what they can get out of the country. They don't care what they're throwing. That also is seen of carelessness, and then you see the city become unclean. If you care for something, you find the drum and you put the rubbish in. But if you're totally mentally unhealthy, you can't blame that. The person doesn't know what is going on with him. But people like you and I may have minor mental health problem, but they're in a state where they don't want to know. That is one. We can't blame only mental health. It's the attitude and how you're brought up, how you care. I see everyone in the independence time that everybody carried their province flags and also independent. They showed the patriotic feeling. In the same patriotic feeling, if they think, show it in their day-to-day actions, then the city will be so clean. Is it the cleaner the heart, you see the God also. The cleaner what you are, you also maintain when you throw, like before you throw a bottle or plastic, you think, what am I doing? You see? So there's a sense of responsibility, and it's important, and their attitude, people should change, and their behavior. They must remember, one, if the environment is so unclean, it's got a great effect on physical illnesses.
Outside the nation's capital and up to the highlands, Goroka is making a name for itself as a tidy town. Okay, I'm standing here with Stanley. He's one of the youth here in Goroka town. Stanley, just tell us, why have the youth decided to clean up Goroka?
Yes. Why mipla clean area na mipla maintain mosem area blo mipla. Mini mosem government emna making misla walk. Time mosem lo look lo mipla luch. Government emna making misla walk. So what bamla mipla pa making? Osem mipla osem maintain area. So what mipla making? Osem just volunteer work. So go back la andlo you government. You government. You must look come down low kind. No can look low man stop inside office na. Try low using paper kind. Look come down low all man no stop osem.
Fopla kona blo Goroka am clean now. Anta blo disla osem lo section do mipla yet lo area blo mipla lo. Lo base blo mipla lo red kona ikamanta osem lo Goroka base na. Ayamar, vemos mipla putim tinting kamosem.
This all boys here. I'm all original Kama Red Corner youth. I'm all Kama Red Corner youth. Also don't go now. Rubbish is like an ISO here. So all yet now, initiatively creating this program on wheel blow yet.
Okay, and now we get some views from the women who are selling betel nut here. What they think of how the youth are cleaning Goroka town. Okay, who can I speak to?
Magati mais blog boy. Kasi kaya na. Mangi stron na raw si mipla na okay, mipla lusim. Mipla ka sindalo house ndua 11 house ndua blomla. Mipla market na mipla rando market o stua one map mipla ino tromirabis. Mipla wori ngutro prumablo bilim blomla karmi ko house na lusim. O ngupla place blo lusim rabis lo kan mipla rausim na now mipla luki mosem. Goroka clean.
Although in terms of security, there are concerns by some locals who say it's not like before, but it's hoped with the newfound attitude by these youths who would otherwise be causing trouble, there is hope for an ultimately better Goroka.
I'm seriously, and I make no apology in, asking the national government to allow me to use the PNG Defence Force. People complain about the city rangers. They say they are not disciplined and cause a lot of nuisance and beat up people. So, they shouldn't complain about the PNG Defence Force. This is the most disciplined section of our community, paid by the state, trained by the state, high level of discipline. I need them to come and help me to deal with what I call the instance of impunity. Where people do things as they like, with impunity, throwing rubbish with impunity, committing crimes with impunity, getting away with it, vending in public place with impunity, even though we tell them not to do it. We've achieved a lot in my first term in reducing opportunity crime, cleaning up the city, but I need a type of intervention that what I call a circuit breaker. It will break the psychology of our people, that they will come to terms and to know that it is not worth it or it's not an acceptable conduct. So that's why I am seriously putting a proposal to the NEC to use the Defence Force. I need only about 1 battalion, and I have that in Taurama Barracks, 300 men. To break the psychology of impunity in committing street crime, I will place armed soldiers in strategic places like Gordon's Market, Kokim Market, bus stops, so people can know that this type of behavior, especially young men, I don't want them waking up in the morning thinking like I can get away with snatching somebody's bag or stealing somebody's car or holding somebody's bum or stealing somebody's mobile phone. Or those type of attitudes should be something of the past. They should wake up and think about when can I and how can I get a job? How can I get some training, skills training? How can I go to a school or something like that? How can I start a small business, something like that? Now we've allowed people to get away with it. We give them an inch and they're taking a mile. So I need to shut that psychology down.
Like NCD Governor Powes Parkop said, billions of kina is being spent on cleaning up the city alone, but it's pointless if people's attitudes don't change.
Since its establishment some 30 years ago, the Madang Visitors and Cultural Bureau has struggled to keep itself afloat, not just with maintenance, but with its publicity status as well. The Bureau, an initiative of the Madang Provincial Government, is run by 4 staff members only. It is in dire need of expansion, simply to promote and educate international visitors and locals about the Madang culture. We paid the Bureau a brief visit and fortunately were given a tour of its museum. Established in 1982, the Madang Visitors and Cultural Bureau is located on Modilon Road in the provincial capital. The Bureau, according to caretaker and director Jane Nasso, is in need of a major overhaul. Since its establishment, the Bureau has had 2 recent renovations only, and she says the yearly budget is not enough to get more done.
No, most of the funds go to like overhead ceiling, staff wages and utilities and all this, and there is very little for us to do, developments, product developments and like that.
The Visitors and Cultural Bureau was opened for the purpose of preserving and nurturing the cultural heritage of the Madang people. That being the case, it needs the expansion desperately to capture, maintain and increase the interest of international visitors and especially the younger generation of Madang's population. The Bureau says Mrs. Nasso has much to offer to the local community and international visitors as well. Plans for the expansion include an area where local men and women can sell their artifacts and other locally made products.
The problem is we need to have maybe ablution blocks built outside for them to use. So they can use the ablution blocks outside and they can do their displays and whatnot outside. Build our house tambaran for them out there and they can sit and
The Bureau Director says part of the plan is to host a Wi-Fi or Internet service center for visitors. This can help with financial sustenance and maintain the Bureau.
We had this MOA with Divine Word university and the Tourism Promotion Authority and the provincial government. And right now there's not very little done on that MOA, but we are getting the students to help us to come up with plans that can help us to help the Madang Visitors and Culture Bureau to be sustainable.
Currently, the Bureau offers visits to attraction sites around Madang. However, transport has been an issue for quite some time.
When they ask one of us to escort them or, be their guide and whatnot, they sometimes pay for the staff's transport fee and all this to take them, to go with them. But otherwise, we tell them to get on the PNV buses to go to where they want to go.
Nevertheless, there was the Cultural Museum with many interesting artifacts to learn about. At least our visit was an educational one.
That's Balangut. Balangut is the canoe that was used to trade between here.
Knowing the history behind something is an important part of preserving culture and tradition. For Papua New Guineans, much of our history is passed on orally through storytelling. Thankfully, some of that history could be captured in the form of photographs. There are vital historical knowledge captured in the museum. However, all these could easily be lost or forgotten. What's important is passing on that knowledge to Madang's younger generation.
The person who carved this was given the designs in a dream.
And so the Bureau plans to establish an educational tour where students from around Madang can visit the museum as part of their school curriculum. There are roughly 1,500 pieces of artifacts that the museum holds. Clay pots, water carriers mainly from the Bilbil and Yauieb villages, as well as carvings from Madang and some from the East Sepik province. Among them are masks that were donated from cultural festivals. There are also historical pieces from World War II. Worryingly, many traditional artifacts today are sold for cash. These are mainly artifacts that have been passed down from generation to generation. This is part of the reason why the Bureau hopes to extend the museum so that more artifacts can be rescued and stored here. Bureau Director Jane Nasso says Madang's former Member of Parliament and local businessman Sir Peter Bata is the museum's main support and contributor of historical artifacts. A curator is also what the Bureau needs to organize and maintain the museum. It was a visit worth taking. Despite its briefness, there was much to gain in learning and appreciating the Madang culture. And after 37 years of self-rule, preserving these cultures and traditions become vitally significant in our identity as Papua New Guineans. Though our country is only young, more of us today struggle to hold on to that identity. And that brings us to the end of TokPiksa. Until same time next week, good night.